Now, I guess that most of the analysts are students in some way or the other, or students that want to come back to the classroom. But in this new postmodern global era, what do you think is the challenge of the current generation of professionals that are coming out to the professional arena? Have you seen all these changes in the context, how financial markets are evolving, how the business landscape is changing, basically, every day? What do you see as the biggest challenge for the professionals or entrepreneurs out there whenever they want to basically engage in a business endeavor?
Well, what has happened within recent times has really, I would think, opened up the whole idea of what is best practice. Is best practice what Citigroup, the biggest bank in the world, was doing? Should we follow them? Is best practice UBS? Is best practice AIG? These are all the companies that crashed doing various things. Yet, we hear from everybody who advises us, whether they're consultants, whether it's McKinsey, or whether it is Pricewaterhouse, or Ernst & Young, or whoever, that this is best practice. And so today, I think, I want us to really go back and think for yourself. And try to work through your ethics and how that will coincide with everything else. I think on the other side of the coin, if best practice was being followed by everybody, then low-cost airlines would never have been born, because everybody would have been following the big guys. This is what they do, this is what they do, this is what they do. So somebody gets up and breaks the mold and say, well, listen, that's nonsense. And Herb Kelleher says, when he formed Southwest Airlines, and if you want to come on my airline and get a lunch, don't expect that. If you want a lunch, go to a restaurant. Yes. If you want to go from point A to point B, I'll take you there. So he broke the mold, and he started everything else, and the success of Southwest, and then followed by JetBlue, Ryanair, and all of the others, and so on. I think, so that's a whole different set of metrics that were being used in the same industry that was a fairly mature industry, and largest and was the biggest growth industry of the century. It still is one of the biggest growth industries in the world. More and more people are traveling, more and more people are, and yet in all of that maturity comes people who have a new business model and come into it. So I think a lot of young students, a lot of young people are coming up. They are certainly seeing things in a different light, and they also have some tools that were never available to people like myself. There's information today. Reams and reams and reams of information today. And I think that they can get there and study it and everything. Maybe it's too much information, I don't know. Maybe it confuses, but the fact remains is, so, and maybe because we have so much information, is which tells you kind of say, well, I'm not going to do that because of this exactly, where we didn't have the information, so we went ahead anyhow. Yes. Okay, fine. But I think that somewhere along the line, they are well informed, and they're in the information age, I suppose, and so on. So I think that they're bright. They have information at their fingertips. They're a lot more learned at certain ages than we were when we were growing up, and so on, because of that. And so that's it. And so what is happening on the other side is more is expected of those people today than what was expected of a similar job years ago. So the demands, the expectations from someone coming in today is a lot different to the expectations of yesteryear.
So basically, question assumptions. Right?
Sorry?
question the assumptions of best practices and exploit the information sources that you have.
Well, again, you know, you spoke about the financial aspect, how finance emerged. And modern finance today bears no relationship to the kind of finance we used to do when I started the business, actually. So you have to keep up to date, and you have all of these various things. Now people are, you know, talking puts and calls and Black-Scholes models and this and that and the other, and all of these very sophisticated things. Even so now, actually, in all the SEC laws now and all the various laws that are coming out of the United States are making separation and distinction between sophisticated investors and non-sophisticated investors, actually, and so on. And the whole world of derivatives and then how they go forward and how they think. These are all new financial instruments that never existed in the time 20 years ago. So they're all coming up and so there's a whole, and one could say, well, money is money. I don't know what is new about money, but but there's a lot of things, and there's the changing landscape of accounting. You know, doing how you value things now. You have mark-to-market valuations, whereas before you used to value the law of cost. You have all of these things that are changing now, and so on. So we have to adjust to those types of things moving forward. Then again, you have a situation where the world doesn't have the same rules all across the world. So you have accounting, IFRS here, and you have GAAP accounting in the States, Mexico GAAP, you have Canadian GAAP, you have IFRS in some parts of the world, you know, so you have all of these various complexities. But the young people coming up actually are learning this and seeing all of these things happening, which was much more dynamic than what it was.